right, so we're live here with Will and TK and Adrian, who's on the phone right now with us. We were one of the first three IF, the original 11, or what did you call that? Asians 11?
Yeah, the Asians 11.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute, is there any other Asians besides me and Will?
I think we were it.
I think there's it. You were known as the secret Asian man.
Yeah.
So you had your own theme song already.
Oh yeah. Man, they were some good times though, weren't they? Over in back in 2005 and shit when we were doing the IF investigations.
And that was a long time ago.
They were great, dude. Very memorable. Remember the hangar?
Remember running on both occasions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we always had to book it.
Yeah.
The first time, I think we just pretty much spooked ourselves, and also an owl. The second time, we got chased by a bunch of off-road trucks.
Yeah.
There was like some party going on, and then all their lights shut off at once, and we froze. We were in the tall grass.
Oh man.
And you hear one guy shout, like one spotlight came out, shined on us, and then it turned back off. Then you hear one guy scream, "Get him!" And then all the trucks turned on, and we're like, "Oh shit!"
Then Will itself.
Yeah.
TK just watched him, didn't even help him.
Hey, I had my own plan.
Oh man, that was awesome, dude.
I had my own plan. I was just gonna stick there as backup. I don't think I could help him up.
Yeah. What Matt did the perfect impression of that. What was it? Help me, TK.
Yeah, I think I would have, because I was standing on the fallen fence also, and it was bouncing underneath me. And if I tried to help Will up, I'm pretty sure I just would have fallen also. So I just stood next to him until he got himself up. So if those people in the trucks caught up, he wouldn't be by himself.
That's very true.
TK, you laughed at Will while he was on the floor.
Oh, I didn't laugh at him. I just stared at him blankly. I laugh now.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I kind of wish all you guys would have been able to meet me these days. Like these days, I'm talkative. Back when y'all knew me, I was quiet, and every now and then I threw like a 2-cent creepy thing to say.
Oh man. Him and Keith were kind of very similar to one another, except for the part that Keith was more of a kind of dumbfounded on a lot of stuff. Not dissing Keith. Keith was a very integral part of the group, but it was the fact that some of the shit that Keith would say, man. Like, what was it? Remember we were all in my car? Remember the Kia? What was it? We were all chilling in the car listening to that banging sound coming from the grain storage. And
Oh yeah.
everybody was quiet, and Keith was like, out of nowhere, sounds like a coyote orgy. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, come on, man. Those are... Oh, man, great memories. But TK, he would be quiet, but then all of a sudden, like, the most crazy shit. What was some of the shit that you used to say?
I don't know. I remember, like, I think someone was just cracking a joke, but back then I took everything very literally. And so there's like, smells like burning bodies around here. And then I would just have like my, almost a Keith like way of saying it, like, that's not what burning bodies smell like. And that would be like the only thing I said that day. So everyone just has that to think about. Like,
yeah.
No one knew me very well.
Hey, I want to ask you though, like, what was it about the paranormal that got you interested into that?
Like, Adrian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess in my opinion, a lot of times people are so quick to sit there and, you have two that are always, you always have people on two sides of the coin. You have people who are just like, it's ghosts, or, automatically they cling to that idea. Then you have the people who automatically jump and discredit it and say that's not real and so forth like that. So there's that middle ground, and I've always noticed that people always kind of go to one or the other, and a lot of times they're scared because, it's that fear of the unknown. So it was appealing to try to find out more information regarding what is that, because that's kind of how you determine whether or not to find out. That's how you determine what it is, because you actually do the investigation, if you want to call it that, and you actually try to sit there and discern, fact from fiction and kind of say, all right, this is what we thought it was, but it's actually this, or vice versa, we say, well, we completely thought it was, benign, but then we kind of realized that this is unexplained. So, in my opinion, I guess what attracted me was it's cool to actually sit there and dig through the stuff that people are too scared to actually, dig through.
No,
And
yeah, that's understandable.
it says a lot about your character. It says a lot about character, but at the same time, it's just, you know, aside from like the thrill of all the, you know, I mean, we all had those fun times back in the days of thrills actually going through these places, but at the same time, it's interesting, and plus it's rewarding to actually find out, like, even if you don't actually truthfully find out what it is, but you're just one step closer. And it was always appealing. It was actually, it's like detective work.
Yeah, detective work.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. So, I mean, it's just, you know, finding the truth in what we, you know, perceive as unexplainable, because sometimes we can explain it, and then other times we can't.
Right. Well,
and then there are people who are just too lazy to sit there and say, you know, oh, you know, it's this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that? No. Well, that's part of the work in it. And it's rewarding in life.
It's like people
that's very true, man.
just automatically coming up with their answers, and nobody's really having the conversation to analyze the situation and figure it out.
Well, you have a lot of keyboard warriors on YouTube where they, you know, or even on Facebook where they just say a bunch of shit. No, that's impossible. Well, how do you know? You know what I mean? All they do is just they type that because it's their personal belief without actually going in there. That's why, you know, like, I respect skeptics when they go out and try to investigate it for themselves, because they automatically don't believe, but when they go in there and try to investigate to see if it is real or if it's not real, if they could disprove it, I respect that a lot. You know what I mean? So I don't really have a hate for skeptics, but I do for the ones that they don't believe, but they're just willing to just say that they don't, like, it's bullshit, without actually going into the field and seeing it for themselves. Detective work. Put in the work, you know.
Yeah. And that's one thing, especially when you, like, listen to a lot of these talk show places and stuff like that, you'll hear people who are so biased in everything that they say. Yeah. And it's funny because you just pick up biases real quick, and you have people who are on either opposite sides of the fence. So that's where it's also, in my opinion, you kind of need people who are kind of in the middle ground where, you know, personally, I would like to believe that it's something paranormal, but at the same time, if it's not, hey, cool, we've removed that possibility, we've confirmed that it's this. All right, let's move on to the next case, and keep driving forward with that type of work.
Well, exactly. Look, remember a while back ago, here's a perfect example. And this is the way I always perceive doing the work on the paranormal. The best way to do it is to go in there as a skeptic. You know what I mean? And that way you don't, you know, because I've investigated with certain people before. I'm not going to name names, but I've investigated with certain people where we've, like, for example, we went into this one house, we had permission, we stayed overnight. A few days later, after reviewing through all my evidence, I only found one thing that I could kind of deem as paranormal, which sounded like a baby crying. When I got with those people, they tagged in like 100-something things that they deemed as paranormal, and pretty much 99% of the stuff that they tagged as paranormal were bullshit. Claim it as something totally different than paranormal, something more natural. Like,
yeah, that's why on our YouTube channel, there's a lot of sounds that we hear caught on audio that we will pause the audio just to talk about it. But for me, even if it could have been paranormal, I don't feel like it's obvious enough to put on the YouTube video or to tag it. It's like it has to be something we can look into, and it has to be something that others can hear besides us, because we got our ears to a speaker, listening for the subtle things.
Yeah.
So if something is a little too subtle, or I feel like 99% of the population is not going to notice what's on the video, then I'm usually in favor of just not including it as evidence.
Right. Adrian, you remember a while back ago, our very first night that we had gone, it was like, what, 9 of us to the McCampbell house?
Yeah.
You remember that evidence, which sounded creepy as hell? When TK was tapping on the window and you could hear what sounds like a kid's voice doing,
yeah.
Well, for the longest time, I didn't deem it as enough evidence for it to be paranormal, because there was 9 of us there. And you know how goofy some of us were. Like, remember Ben and Joey and stuff like that? You know what I mean? And the way Matt would joke around. Yeah. Well, then I go back over there, I want to say about 6 months later, and freaking, there was still a big group of us, but we've caught this strange, same type of tone this time it was actually saying something like, "Now it's safe." And it was weird. It didn't sound like any of us, but I still didn't deem it as paranormal yet. Until finally, the third time I went over there, and it was just me and a guy named Mike, and we both have deep voices. We sat the recorder between us. We sat kind of a little distance, maybe like 4 or 5 feet away from the recorder, and we simply asked it questions, gave it some time between questions, and we caught one voice, and it was the same tone voice. It wasn't even incomparable to any of our voices. And this time it was asking, "Who is he?" And that was Mike's first time ever going over there. So that is the evidence that made me believe that the previous evidence that we had already collected, like when TK tapped on the window and that playful voice happened, and then the "now it's safe," that's what helped me solidify the other few times that we did capture that voice as paranormal evidence. And it's about putting in that work, about going back and doing it again. See if you can capture that voice again. Find different ways of capturing it. But a lot of people these days, they're enthusiasts, but they're not willing to get off their asses to actually investigate.
Yeah, and you notice how a lot of people, when they do these, again, I'm going to go and just use the term investigations, but when they do these investigations, they go to one place once, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, just one time. One time, and it's like, no, man, you got to build data. Like, you need data to sift through, to analyze, to really say, hey, this is what we found, and it's not going to be done at one time. You got to do it multiple times. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, not only that, but if you look at what people say about, let's say, haunted houses, let's take the Amityville house, for example. The first few days of being there, there's really nothing much going on. And those people are there 24/7. Like, they had to, like, sort of build up, I guess, climatize to the area or something before any activity really starts. So a one-night visit in some location is probably not enough to get activity started. It's almost, and this is like not much of a skeptic side of me, but it's almost like whatever entity might be there, it's getting used to you. So that's kind of the way I saw it. So I feel like it's worth going to the same place a lot of times.
Oh, that's definitely the case, man. I see a lot of shows, man, where they go there for one night and that's it, and they might collect some evidence, and then sometimes they don't, and then they, like, okay, I'm not gonna mention screw it. I'm gonna name it Taps, right? I respect those guys a lot. You know what I mean? I really do. I like the way they handle themselves as far as the field, but they go to one place for one night, and on the episodes that they show where they don't collect anything, or they could disprove of it, not being paranormal, you can't necessarily say that, okay, well, you didn't find something that night that you stayed over, so it's not, haunted or it doesn't have any paranormal significance to it. But just because it doesn't happen one night doesn't mean that it can't happen or it just doesn't happen at all. I mean, you have to continuously investigate, like you said. It's all about putting in the work. Yeah, I understand shows like Ghost Hunters and stuff like that, they're scheduled to do that. But there's a lot of actual groups out there that they'll just go to a place one time, don't find nothing. It's nothing, it's not haunted. We disproved its haunting significance.
Yeah, the way I see it, they didn't prove anything.
I mean, as far as like, do you, Adrian, do you like how the paranormal field has gotten on TV as far as like its big time success with all these different shows?
Like a tool that's pointing at both ends, because one thing good that it does, in my opinion, is it brings awareness, and people who may not have been interested in the field before suddenly see this type of stuff, and suddenly they'll realize they naturally gravitate towards that, and they develop an actual legitimate interest in it. So that's a good thing, because it brings awareness, and it brings more people, brings more good minds to that area. But then on the other side of that, then it could also paint the wrong picture or a bad stigma, depending on who it is that's on television and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like we were just talking about, you see these teens go to places for a night and that's it. And that's not really painting a picture of what actually type of work that actually goes into it. Because it's like in my job. For every cool thing you do, you've got hours of paperwork, and if you really look at it, stop and kind of think, for one full night of recordings, you have to listen to a full night of recordings probably several times just to really analyze and go through all that information to be effective, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
So
just
it's
the analysis
good and
we do
bad.
here is we'll have like maybe 2 hours spent on a site, and we might spend like 6 hours here in the garage listening to it over and over. But that's just 2 hours. Like
Yeah.
that's why we keep going back to the same places again, because I mean it kind of sucks with the schedule we've got, where we got to wait like a couple of weeks before we can meet up.
Let me ask you, Adrian, what do you think about all the tools that are being developed to help capture the paranormal? I've always been a big believer in the simplest things: audio recorder, EMF meter, video camera. Back in the old days of the IF, all we had was a audio recorder, EMF meter, and a video camera. Remember the old tape?
Yeah,
The old tapes?
camcorder.
But what do you think about all this stuff like the Ovulus and the Spirit Box and what was it, the Ghost Box, where it sounds like it's going through a bunch of voices and they try to communicate, and if it says a certain word, oh my gosh, they're talking to us or
I
something.
love you too.
What do you think about all that? The new technology that's coming out for the paranormal field?
If you can't do anything with like basic stuff, in my opinion, then I mean, why get all this fancy stuff if you can't do anything with basic stuff?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, people bro, they are selling these things for thousands of dollars, $800,000, all that stuff, and I think they're cool, but we found evidence without having to spend so much money on things that may or may not be, reliable in all sorts. I'm not knocking on the new products. I think it's great to have new technology come out, but nobody's really, solidifying the advancement on the technology. They're just, it becomes more of a what do you call it, a hit. Like, it's kind of like the K2 meter. I like the K2 meter. I have one. But all of a sudden, it gets used on ghost hunters, and now everybody's got K2 meters instead of broadening their horizon on different other EMF meters. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's like they carry the K2 meter because of the ghost hunters, and then they want to make them they want to present themselves as true ghost hunters because they got a K2 meter. you know what I mean? It just it becomes more of a fad than anything.
And people make business off of it.
Yeah, and I'm a capitalist, so it's like, making money is great, but I'm also a person that believes make a product that is true, field it's made for. It's kind of like earphones. I don't really go to the Dollar Tree to get earphones. I have before, and they only last for like 10 minutes, and then they're done. I go to a different store, to like Walmart or something where it's better quality, or Best Buy, and if you're going to make a product, show in its true form, not just sitting there in your little office and do an EVP session right then and there. Go to a place, use it in a place. You know what I mean? Ghost Adventures, they do that. Ghost Hunters, they do that. All these different shows. But I see a lot of people advertising their product in their office, and then they test it out in their office. And it's like, yeah, get this, and then they don't even say the price. And when you do look up the price, it's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? It's just, I've always had this thing about CC Spook Central, right? On YouTube, they disabled their comment section, right? And I just got a response, and they responded on a comment.
Well, yeah, I saw that.
And it was kind of funny. And they were trying to play the nice card. And I was just being nice with them, too.
Yeah, I think you had a very sportsmanlike response.
Yeah, but in our deal, they say they don't like to be trolled, but guess what? Welcome to YouTube. You're gonna get trolls. You know what I mean? You're not allowing real fans of your product to state what their opinions are. Like me, I know we get trolls or whatnot, or we haven't yet, but I'm pretty sure we will. And I'm fine with that. That's just the price you pay for getting on YouTube or whatever. We put our stuff out there because we want to know what people, think. We want to know opinions and suggestions and stuff like that. What do you think about groups like CC Spook Central disabling their comment section because they don't, they can't handle the trolling or whatnot? Are they afraid?
Just thin skin, like you said, that it's going to happen either way. Like, they're going to troll, but at the same time, you can actually get pretty good constructive feedback from comments because somebody, it's like everybody in a room has their own mind, has their own perspective, so they each kind of look at things through a different eye lens, through a different lens, so they can see something that you or none of us will see that would be, they can provide valuable input, so it's counterproductive. Like, you kind of need some constructive criticism, and that's why it's like you kind of need to really better yourself, you kind of have to have some thick skin because somebody's going to take something that you worked on and then take it apart, but then you kind of stop and be like, well, although I did my best, which is, hey, at the end of the day, you can only do the best that you got, but at the same time, looking at it, because you should always continuously be trying to better yourselves or constantly have some form of self-development at all times, better yourself. Oh, yeah. And removing comments, and you're just going to stay stagnant. You're not going to actually improve yourself. Yeah. So it's just really counterproductive.
I mean, we don't necessarily use the highest end on technology when it comes to doing our editing and stuff like that, and I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on technology, to edit our videos and stuff like that. So if somebody says, man, it looks generic, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to portray myself as some kind of big time studio, videographer or whatever you want to call it, a designer of some sort. No, this is our product. This is what we put out. We put it out in the simplest terms. If people like it, great. If people don't, great. It doesn't faze me. And you're right, people with thin skin, they can't handle it. Stop putting your videos out on YouTube. Get away. If you can't handle criticism or trolling and stuff like that, just walk away and do it for yourself. Because, look, when you're putting stuff on video, or when you're putting your videos out on YouTube, come on, what's the purpose? To get people to see it, to get people to watch it. You want people to view it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to get reactions from society. But if you disable the comment section, that's kind of like
then you're being a pussy.
Yeah, you're a one-sided conversation at that point.
I hate to be such an asshole about it, but if you can't handle the trolling or the criticisms, don't put your shit out on YouTube. It makes me feel like people who do that are just ridiculously stupid, and they need to get away.
Yeah, because they come off as closed-minded if they can't handle any kind of feedback, good or bad feedback.
It's ridiculously dumb. Hey, you texted us. What was it? The top 3 locations. I said I put it in 6 because it's so many different places to investigate. And I think one of mine is Area 51. I think that was number 3 or 2.
I remember the only reason why I didn't include Area 51 with mine is because I don't think I'd actually be able to get in. But I would like to go, but I guess I was looking at places I can go.
Right.
That makes me look more forward to going.
Like, for me, I think the reason why I put Area 51, even though it's pretty much impossible to get in, but if you can catch one of these so-called light shows on video, on these high peak areas that they have claimed that you can get on without getting arrested by the secret police that they have there.
I feel like the only way to really expose Area 51 and get it so, I guess, in the public's eye is you have to go in there with like a crew or something like that, and you got to be ready to go to war with whoever's pulling security.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's going to be it's going to be a war zone.
Yeah.
But once there's a war zone, the whole country will become aware.
Oh yeah. You got to pull off some Mission Impossible type shit.
Yeah, so everyone that is in that posse or whatever they are, they're probably going to die.
Yeah.
But that makes Area 51 a place that's no longer hidden. It's no longer just sort of an afterthought, like a where people just remember things they talked about with their friends in high school back in 1988.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Adrian, did you ever see the video of the two bikers, of the son and the father? They ride motorcycles all over the country, going to different places, right? And one of the big places that they went to was the back gate of Area 51, and then they got stopped by two of the main security dudes, the camo dudes is what they call them, and they had guns drawn on them and stuff. And then all of a sudden, these guys who made videos on YouTube about their adventures on motorcycles completely like disappeared. Now there's some kind of weird theory that the Men in Black might have gotten to them or something. I mean, you think that's possible with us civilians, that, you know, we find out something crazy like that and the Men in Black may end up getting to us?
I've heard about them. The MIBs, obviously. Not so much. This is the first time I've ever heard about that, but I don't know. I'd have to do more digging into, because that'd be the first time I would hear about them doing something like that, because most of the time it's just weird encounters with them. That's the only thing I've ever heard about them.
Yeah, I have I can't remember the YouTube video anymore, but it was a recording with somebody who claims that, well, it was an AM talk show, and I think it had something to do with the paranormal, but they had a call-in from a guy who said he used to work in Area 51 itself, and he said that because of the stories that he has told to, like, friends and then people that live in his community, because, you know, like, years after he's retired from it, every now and then he said he talked about it. He talked about it to just people he knew, who he sees every day, and then he started noticing, like, he never said specifically what he noticed, but he said he was getting really nervous because he started noticing, there's a difference in just things the way people are acting, faces he's not used to seeing, being in areas where he's always lived, and he lived in a small town, and he was getting really, really nervous that he might have said too much, and now they're going to come after him. So before they get him, he wanted to call in on that radio show, and he wanted to say whatever he knows to whoever that jockey was.
Wait a minute, and was this Coast to Coast AM?
I think it was. There was
George Norrie?
I can't remember anyone's name is anymore because I was on some night shift driving.
That's probably what it was.
But
Coast to Coast AM.
But yeah, he was just talking about the stuff that he knows about, and he was still sort of limited. He said that the clearance he's got, he can only work in a certain area. Things that were being talked about by guards, and things being talked about by people who work in different areas, where he just overheard it because they were going through his area. He was really, really nervous when he was talking on the phone, and he says he's not safe where he lives, and he doesn't know where he's going to be safe, so he just wants to put this all out there because he feels like he's about to get taken in, and he's probably just going to be gone forever.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that was weird to hear.
That's deep. That's deep.
And the stuff that he talked about is, he was talking about things we've all, like, if anybody who looks into any UFO crashes, like, they try to find out whatever they can find out on UFO crashes, he was talking about stuff that's happened back in the 70s, like parts of the supposed ship that was recovered and what they found out about it. He was talking about that kind of stuff, like stuff being, it's metal, but it's super easy to bend, so they didn't understand how could it travel in space if it bends so easy. Right. Unless there was no air inside to begin with. The kind of stuff that he was talking about was interesting, but I guess what I took the most interest in was how nervous he was, and it seemed like the way he sounded is he believed that this was probably his last phone call.
Oh, shit.
Do you believe
weird? Do you believe the government is hiding some stuff?
I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it, but then again,
I mean, there's a lot of crazy.
No, even Putin, he mentioned at some point during Trump's presidency, it was a comment, he never really spoke of it again, but he did make a comment, like, you need to tell your people about aliens. That's pretty deep. And I don't think he got a response back. It was just a comment he made somewhere. But I don't even know if a president would be notified of everything unless he was, I guess, had some kind of psychological evaluation, not directly, but just his demeanor or whatever. Yeah. I think the right people have to give a kind of like a secret diagnosis on him before they decide to trust him with more information. Yeah. That's how I feel about it.
Hey, I got a question. What did you check out the undisclosed location video that I sent you?
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was good.
Did you?
That's part 1, right?
That's just part 1. Part 2, ooh man, it gets pretty intense. It was the strangest thing. Remember, TK?
Are we about to give spoilers or?
No, but just.
Well, actually, we could release part 2, and then we can post this recording after.
Yeah, I'm gonna release part 2 sometime tomorrow. But this is a spoiler. But let me tell you about that night when we went in there. Right, it was muggy. You know, it was hot inside. It was definitely hot inside, and it was pretty warm outside, and no wind at all. We go in there. This is on the second part, and I remember, I think it's like the last 5 or 10 minutes. We're going downstairs, and all of a sudden, cold spots. You remember hitting those cold spots?
I remember you telling me about the cold spots, but I couldn't tell if I just caught a breeze or not.
Oh my gosh, dude. It was pretty chilling as we're going down the stairs. It was dangerous inside there, but it was pretty chilling. Some of the things, you know, I've been rewatching the video, and I noticed certain like voices that I've been hearing. There's one that sounds like a kid, or not a kid, but kind of like a light tone voice.
So it could have been just a female.
I mean, I don't know. It was pretty intense. I mean, what did you get from the video?
It was really hard to hear certain things because of just when I was watching it.
Yeah.
I can't really like put it like, I don't have like crazy awesome speaker or headset that I can like really sit there and listen to it, because I would have to listen to it in depth. I was more interested in where the location was, but obviously we'll talk later about that part.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to.
Well, we have to keep that quiet for a while.
Yeah.
But I think when you hear it, it's going to be really cool.
Oh yeah. Once we tell you where.
Actually, I think there is a hint that I can give Adrian it's a really big hint, but it's specific to me and Adrian.
Okay.
Get it? Remember the doggy door?
Oh, the dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We can't disclose it to everybody, so don't mention it. But we made a doggy door. Remember that? Bolt cutters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we can't mention the location. So don't mention location. But that's the big hint.
Also, don't forget about Ben's dumbass with the homeless dude. Hey, we're like ghost hunters.
He told that to everybody. I mean, I'm only thinking of a certain 2 other individuals he told at the same time at a very inconvenient time for them. Man, we gonna talk about that moment on this?
Oh man,
I think this might actually be safe to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's shit. I remember that moment. What was it? Remember we went to the beach, North Beach. Remember what was it? We spotted something from a distance, and then we got up to it. It was it
was like a honeymoon or something.
Yeah, a couple, some dude doing a chick doggy style, and what was it? It was me and Ben standing there, and we're just watching the whole thing.
There's more of us. We were like making a half circle around. Yeah, we're like standing like, I don't know, 4 feet away.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he stops, and then they're like all spooked out, like. Oh, we didn't notice you guys there. And I was like, well, I was going to see if you needed some help. But
and then Ben, like, we're ghost hunters.
We're like ghost hunters.
And I remember the lady, she was like, there's ghosts over there, just way over there.
Yeah.
I was like, looking back, I feel like we should not have intruded. But hey, we were like a bunch of young idiots at the time.
Oh, freaking Adrian puts on my headlamp in the car when we're listening to techno music, and TK and Joey was behind us in TK's truck, and he's all doing the rave with the lights and shit.
Yeah, well, my truck was awkward. Well, I mean, I was awkward, so everyone was like not sure what they can say, don't know what they can do. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, you know, the way I was, treacherous killer.
Treacherous killer.
Just didn't say much. Just
oh shit! I remember. How was it at the grain storage? I'm going to say something to it, and had a lit cigarette in my mouth, and I accidentally hit my head on the window and bent the cigarette. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, you just like slammed your face into the window. like boom. You sat back in your chair and they're just staring at your cigarette all bent downward.
Oh man, those were great times, man. Those were memorable, bro. All those times, man. I remember
They were funny times.
Oh, before technology got to what it was. Remember we have to get our pictures developed over at HEB?
Damn.
Dude.
I could use my phone now.
Now you can just use a cell phone. That's it. That was back when we had those little flip phones.
Yeah, mine, I couldn't take photos with mine. Like, mine was specific to text messages and phone calls.
Yeah.
Cheap-ass phone.
I could take photos, but, man, the quality back then was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
I feel like the IF, even though we've been on hiatus for the longest freaking time, me and TK, here physically have been kind of reviving it. And the one thing I want to let everybody know, okay, when this comes down to us two, it comes down to you, Adrian, Keith, Matt, everyone, all the original 11 that we...
I'm still iffy on Ben.
Iffy on Ben, Snow Goose. Everybody still is a part of it, no matter what. You know what I mean? It's almost like a gang, I guess. It's like blood in, blood out.
I feel like I've gone like over leaps and bounds as far as keeping my temper in check, but I feel like Ben would be the one who would make me snap again.
But, what was some of the most memorable times for you, man?
The hangar. I think the hangar was one of our first main places.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah, the hangar's not even standing anymore. Now it's just grassland.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a little, commentary video of us going back to where the hangar used to be and kind of talking about the best of times there that we've had.
Yeah, and we might do an EVP session. If we can't come up with anything on that audio, we won't include it. But I guess it's just to see if there's anything residual there.
The hangar, though, that was the staple mark of the IF because it was the first place, really.
Yeah, I mean, if we were going to have some kind of icon for just to represent our group, it probably would have been the hangar building.
That's why when I did that song Asians 11, I had the picture of the hangar on there because it's very iconic as far as like what the IF was back then. It was so enjoyable going over there. It was just, it was very spooky. I don't think we've ever really caught anything paranormal, did we, Adrian?
No, I don't recall. I don't recall ever finding anything solid.
Yeah, nothing solid.
Yeah.
I think the most we ever got from there was, I don't think we even tried EVPs there.
I don't think we did either.
No, I remember photos of orbs.
The only thing that came from that site was that scream or howl that we heard.
Oh yeah, I think that was an owl screech.
Yeah, what was it? The legendary La Chusa.
Yeah, I think that's what happens when you put too many Mexicans together.
There was a lot of us. Matt.
Yeah, but that scream wasn't normal.
Yeah, that was not a normal scream. I mean, holy crap. It gave me... What was it? We all froze, didn't we? Or no. We didn't freeze. I think 3 of us hauled ass to the car, and TK was standing out there or something, and I'm all trying to unlock the car with a cigarette in my... Or no, I was trying to light the cigarette like, come on. Trying to calm my nerves. Boy, that was some intense stuff right there.
No, that
Yeah,
the type of I guess the way I believed in it and the way I usually kind of figure it today is whatever paranormal thing we might encounter, I don't feel like it's going to be like a life-threatening poltergeist thing. Whenever something creepy happens, it's not really in me to just run away. Yeah. I always feel like it's something logical. Yeah. So what I'm more afraid of these days when I'm investigating some, let's say, the undisclosed location, the thing I'm worried about the most is just somebody that's on too many drugs that's just hiding out there. For me, that's my biggest worry.
Oh, yeah. Wait till you see part 2, man. Especially the ending part. You remember the Blair Witch Project, Adrian?
Yeah.
Remember how they're trying to find their way out of the woods and they're screaming inside that house, that abandoned house, and they're screaming?
Yeah, they're like running also.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we finally had one of those moments as adults.
Yeah.
Just running around this place. Sure, like, how did we get in? What was the way out?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was intense, bro.
Oh yeah, we have You brought up an idea of like making a shirt, and it says "Go Up" on it.
Oh yeah, go higher.
Yeah, go higher.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it said. Yeah, okay. But you were saying about making it a shirt.
Yeah.
And then, but it's kind of like it's an inside kind of thing. It's an inside phrase. So someone has to watch our video to know what the shirt will mean.
Oh yeah.
Because it's right when he says like, "Which way would we go?" And then he looks at a wall where there's graffiti on the wall that says "Go up" or "Go higher." Because we couldn't remember because there's some places that we had to go upstairs first before we come downstairs in a different place.
Right.
It was weird. And it got confusing because we got so far into it before we had to run.
Yeah. Hey man, that would be some awesome shit to make some action figures or something, right? Of each one of us holding some kind of equipment. That would be pretty, or pops.
Yeah, I can't decide. Would I want my action figure to have a hat or just no hat, be a bald guy with a big scar on his head?
Well, I definitely would not be wearing a hat because I've never been known to be wearing hats.
Yeah, I'm almost always wearing a hat nowadays.
Adrian, you always wore a hat. Freaking.
I used to.
You don't wear hats no more?
Not that often.
Oh, really? I thought like, cause for me, I used to hate hats, but being in the Army made me, I guess, used to it.
Are you expected to come down here in July?
I'm looking at possibly doing it. It sounds like I might, but it's still not certain. But it'll be in July.
We'll have to do a podcast in person, and then let's try an investigation in person.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if we can talk about because you're in the Army right now. Like you stayed in. Me, I didn't like it. Your job specifically, I don't know if we can talk about.
Yeah, we can have that discussion in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you had a better job than me. I just hated everything. My job's like me. I can talk about what my job was. Like I was like a mechanic, but I was kind of like as I was coming in, I was convinced I was going to be a mechanic. And my reason why I wanted to be a mechanic is because I like off-road vehicles. And if I got a car, I like to do things to make it faster.
Yeah.
But my mechanic skills sucked. And then I knew if I joined the Army and I decided I want to be a mechanic for anything with wheels, that they're going to force feed the information I needed to save money in my hobbies.
There you go.
So that's why I wanted to be a mechanic. But
now he's a truck driver.
Yeah, it turns out I hate fixing shit. I just like driving it. I was surprised. I thought when I was a mechanic, I would always have a vehicle, but no, they still made me walk everywhere. Everyone else had vehicles.
Oh, man. Hey, so any of the other videos, did you ever check them out?
The other ones on the YouTube page?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to watch the ones that were on the Facebook, the other ones where you guys were in the garage or the dojo.
Oh, the dojo.
Hey,
yeah.
What got you to start, how did you find out about the YouTube videos? Because we didn't really start doing that until maybe a year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago.
I kept tabs on you guys.
Oh,
yeah,
that's shady.
all right, that's cool. But how'd you find the YouTube thing?
Are you one of the men in black?
No, the YouTube page, Will had added me.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did.
It was because it was on the Facebook page, so
That's
I was
right.
able to find it on the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
I was able to track it that way.
Hey, did you see the one that me and your brother investigated with Keith with the shadow figure?
I think so. I'm fairly certain. I know of that case.
Yeah,
but it's been a while. I used to watch because as you guys were making posting videos on Facebook, I'd watch them when I was in Afghanistan.
Oh shit! I'll send you the link to the one with me and your brother, the shadow figure. I did it. I slowed down the speed and took the photo at the end of the actual shadow figure. Man, this thing is creepy, and I can't believe I was in that house by myself with your brother and Keith outside of the house. I look back at it, I'm like, oh crap! It was intense. I enjoyed it. We still got a lot of other videos like the Ouija board burning and stuff. Boy, that was a little creepy.
Oh, wait, we're thinking about doing another Ouija board thing. We haven't fully decided whether or not it's a good idea, but we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, but screw it, man.
Not a good idea, but I mean, what?
I mean, we're all about taking chances. Fuck it, you know.
Yeah, we're just not doing the Ouija board thing near anywhere where we live, and we're iffy about bringing the Ouija board back to either of where we live.
Yeah. Like maybe burying it.
Actually, that might be a good idea. Anyone who they're just deep into Ouija boards, they say don't do it at a cemetery because there's too many spirits in one place.
And we did it at a cemetery.
Okay, I think we should do it at a cemetery. Let's say one in Corpus.
Oh.
You know, big one.
Yeah.
We'll do one in Corpus. And we're gonna have everything we need as far as like we need the silver piece, and maybe like 3 candles. And I think we should do it there, but we'll bury the Ouija board there, somewhere, like next to a tree that we won't forget.
No, that sounds intense.
And then let's say just months later, we'll come back, we'll unbury it, and use it again. I'm wondering if that'll change our odds of results.
I mean, it could, but I mean,
Yeah.
Because that makes it almost like if spirits are supposed to be drawn towards Ouija boards, that gave it some time. And then we might have different results the next time after we unbury it.
no, that sounds like a good plan. Hey, what did you think about our K2 meter investigation at the nature sanctuary?
It seems pretty. I mean, I was kind of wanting to try to get my hands on it and actually play with it myself.
Yo, because
I'm not too familiar with them.
Right. No, because we learned our lesson last time about that. They're very sensitive. So we placed what was it on the video? We placed our cell phones on a picnic table away from us. And, man, it was pretty strange how we were getting those readings.
Yeah.
With no electrical,
Yeah, on the YouTube video, I don't know if, I don't think anyone could really hear me very well, but the way I was talking for an EVP session and I was holding the K2 meter, I was talking like, it was like I was pretending I have already made contact, for sure. And I was also taking an approach kind of like on that TV show, How to Catch a Predator. You know, you continuously insist on the other to come over here to this spot. It kind of like, it gave a lot of credit to having a K2 meter around.
Yeah.
Because when I got insistent on whoever to come back to where I'm holding it, it lit up. Like the second light would light up.
Now I'm going to use a EMF meter also with it the next time we do that, just to see if it's the K2 meter, see if both the K2 meter and the EMF meter catches it. But see how that works. It's just experimentation while investigating.
That's how you do it.
Well, Adrian, we gotta let you go. We'll have this conversation again.
Maybe next time it'll be in person.
Oh yeah,
man, that'd be great memories.
That would be. Oh man, that'd be great.
I'm hoping maybe at some point we can get Matt to show back up or Angel.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna have these phone call ones with a lot of the other guys as well too. Adrian happens to be the number one guy on that one.
Yeah, he's the number one guy right now because he actually reached out.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, thank God someone reached out.
Oh yeah, but it was good. It was good hearing from you, Bubba.
Yeah, likewise, brother.
Oh, you got it, brother. Well, you take care of yourself. This was Adrian. He's a great friend and a great member of the IF and a big-time paranormal enthusiast. And we'll have him on here a bunch of times. We'll get more deeper into some of the other stuff that we've been discussing. So it was good hearing from you, brother.
Peace out.
Likewise, brother.
We'll contact you later, Bubba.
I'd rather take it easy.
You too, brother. So that was Adrian, big time member of the IF. He man, we had so many great memories with that guy. He's one of the biggest enthusiasts I've ever met in my life. This guy, he's one of a kind, man.
Yeah, I think he's skeptic enough that makes him even more valuable in investigating.
Yeah, he's not one that'll go and, oh my gosh, this was some paranormal. This was paranormal. No, he digs deep into the situation to see if it's legit, and that's the type of investigators that we respect a lot. He's one of the biggest time investigators, and there's people on TV that can't even compare to Adrian.
Yeah, I kind of feel like when the IF first formed, I feel like Adrian was probably one of the more responsible members.
Oh, yeah.
And he was probably, like, more serious than most of us. Like, Will, I know he was serious from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I was serious, but I just wasn't very talkative at the time. Adrian, I think he was as serious as both me and Will, but Adrian was more of, like, he talked.
Right.
And he was really articulate. I feel like it was just an age thing for a lot of the other members, was that we were goofy, and I like those memories.
Those memories are great.
It's just that not only were we all goofy, but we got spooked too easily.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
but
y'all spooked too easily. I'm
guilty
with
of that.
Stuff.
I'm guilty of that. But the whole thing, the great thing about it, though, was that we had great character within our group. We still have great character in our group. And I'm letting everybody know that these 11 guys, and I'm going to name them off. Me, which is Will, TK, Brian, Steve, Adrian, Matt, Ben, Keith, Josh, Joey. I feel like I'm missing one more. Oh, Angel. We are the heart and soul of the IF. We were the beginners, and we're forever IF.